Hi children, today's topic is matter in our surroundings. What is matter? Air, water, stones, sand, clouds, pencils, books. Everything is made up of matter. Matter is everything in this universe that occupies space and has mass. What are the constituents of matter? According to the early Indian philosophers, every living and non-living thing is made up of 5 basic elements called Panchatattva, that is air, water, earth, sky and fire. Therefore, matter is a composition of these 5 constituents. Now, let's learn about the physical nature of matter. Is matter continuous or particulate? Matter is particulate in nature. This means that matter consists of particles, as you can see in the microscopic image of cube which is above. For example, if we put a drop of red color in water, the color of the water turns red. This happens because the particles of red color mixes with the particles of water. Now, what is the size of these particles? The particle size of matter is very small, microscopic in nature. They can be broken into further particles as well. Say for example, on dilution of colorful solution, there are millions of particles present in the color which just divide themselves on dilution. Which of these is matter? Happiness, air, sandwich, thoughts, juice and eraser. Air, sandwich, juice and eraser, as they have mass, they occupy space and cannot be broken into further particles, are called as matter, not the happiness or thoughts. Now let's discuss about the characteristics of the particles of matter. Particles of matter have 3 characteristics. 1. The particles of matter have spaces between them. Number 2. Particles of matter are moving all the time. Number 3. The particles of matter attract each other. Now, let's learn about particles of matter having spaces between them. Have you wondered what causes salt to get dissolved in water? Salt gets dissolved in water because their particles have spaces between them. The particles of the salt get in between the spaces of the particles of water and the mixture is formed. We cannot see these particles through our naked eyes. Now, let's learn about particles of matter which are continuously moving. Particles of matter are always in the motion all the time, which means that they possess kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is nothing but the energy due to its motion. So, the particles of the matter intermix on their own with other particles of the matter. Say for example, salt in water, various gases in the air, ink in water. Now, let me explain you about a particular term called as diffusion. What is diffusion? The process of mixing 2 different types of particles together is called as diffusion. Diffusion becomes faster on heating. Okay, so the kinetic energy of the particles also increases on heating. Now let's discuss about the particles of matter which attract each other. The particles of matter are always held together because of its force of attraction between them. The amount of this force between the particles varies in different forms of matter. Solids have the highest force of attraction. That is why we cannot move our hands through a solid object. The particles are so tightly bound. Similarly, the particles of gases have the least force of attraction. In them, we can move our hands easily in the air. Can't we? This is because the particles of air are loosely bound. We can arrange the force of attraction between the different types of matter, that is solids, liquids and gases, in increasing order as. Now, let's discuss about the states of matter. We know the particles of the matter have force of attraction between them. Based on this criterion, we can say that the matter is present in 3 different states: solid state, liquid state and the gaseous state. Let's learn about the solid state. Solids are the objects that have these 3 properties. They have a specific shape, they have distinct boundaries and they have volume. There is less kinetic energy among the particles in solid. They are generally arranged in an order, thus they possess a fixed shape. Yet they cannot be compressed. The force of attraction is maximum among the particles of the solids. There is not much space between the particles, therefore they cannot be compressed. Which of these are solids? The rubber band, sponge, salt. All of them are solids. All of these follow the properties of solids. A rubber band and sponge change their shape only when we apply force on them. It might appear to you as if the salt is taking the shape of the container in which you put it, but actually each of its grain has its own definite shape. Now let's discuss about the liquid state. Liquid state have the following properties. Liquids have a fixed volume, liquids do not have a fixed shape. The force of attraction in liquid particles is less than the solids. Therefore, there is a space between the particles of the liquids and they can flow easily. They cannot be compressed, that is why they are also called as fluids. The particles of liquids arranging each other is not fixed. You might have seen that liquids take the shape of the container in which we put them. This is because the particles of the liquids have the higher kinetic energy. They always keep on moving. Now, tell me, can other matters diffuse into liquids? Yes, other matters can diffuse into liquids, whether it is solids, gases or liquids. This is because there is a space between the particles of the liquid, so the particles of other matter can slip into those spaces. For example, diffusing solids into liquids. The best example is mixing sugar in tea. Diffusing liquids into liquids. The best example is mixing ink in water. The third example, diffusing gases into liquids, the presence of oxygen and carbon dioxide in water. Now let's discuss about the gaseous state. Gases have the following properties. They do not have a fixed volume, they do not have a fixed shape. The particles of gases have the least or almost no force of attraction between them. Therefore, the particles have the larger number of spaces between them and they can be freely moving in any direction. Also, they can be easily compressed and put into a small container, unlike solids and liquids. Since there is a lot of space between the particles, different gases can diffuse into each other easily. The kinetic energy between the particles is maximum in case of gases. Therefore, the particles move around freely at high speed and there is no fixed shape of gases. These are the differences in the characteristics of states of matter. Now, let me ask you a question. Can matter change its state? Yes, definitely. Water exists in three states. Ice, which is in form of solid, water, which is in form of liquid, water vapor, which is in form of gas. This is an indication that the matter can change its states. Let's learn about the effect of change of temperature. What happens to matter when we heat it? Let's discuss about solids first. As we heat solids, the kinetic energy between the particles of solids increases, which actually decreases the force of attraction between them. They start vibrating and changing their positions. Slowly, due to heat, the particles become free and the solid converts into liquid. The best example I can give you is the melting point. What is the melting point? The temperature at which the solid melts to become a liquid at atmospheric pressure. For example, the melting point of ice is 273.16 Kelvin. Another example I can give you is the fusion. What is a fusion? The force of melting a solid into liquid is called as fusion. In the melting process, once a solid reaches its melting point, its temperature does not increase further. So where does all the heat go? The heat present in solid at time of melting is used by the particles to diminish the force of attraction between each other. The heat energy is therefore considered as hidden. Another concept is the latent heat. What is latent heat? The heat energy which is used to break the force of attraction between the particles of matter is known as latent heat. Since the heat is hidden, therefore, is called as latent heat. Let me explain you about the latent heat of fusion. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is known as latent heat of fusion. Then what is meant by atmospheric pressure? The pressure exerted by the weight of the atmosphere is called as atmospheric pressure. Now let's discuss the change of temperature with liquids. Just like in solids, the kinetic energy of the particles of the liquid increases, the force of attraction among them decreases, and they start moving freely. As we keep on supplying the heat, a point comes where the particles overcome the force of attraction completely. This is when the liquid starts changing into gas. The best example I can give you is the boiling point. The temperature at which the liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure is called as its boiling point. For example, the boiling point of water is 373 Kelvin. Another concept is the latent heat of vaporization. What is latent heat of vaporization? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a liquid into a gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is known as latent heat of vaporization. Okay, now let's discuss about the gases. What happens when we decrease the temperature in case of gases? The kinetic energy between the particles decreases and they turn into liquid state. The best example is the condensation or the liquefaction. What is condensation? The process of converting a gas into a liquid by cooling down its temperature. For example, the formation of clouds is due to condensation of water vapor from earth. Now let's learn what happens when we decrease the temperature in case of liquids. The kinetic energy between the particles decreases and they turn into a solid state. For example, the formation of ice. The best example I can give you is sublimation. The change of state of gas directly into solid and vice versa is known as sublimation. Example, camphor is a solid that directly evaporates into the air without changing to a solid state. Therefore, by increasing or decreasing the temperature, we can change the states of matter into one another. Now, let's learn about the effect of change of pressure. By applying pressure, we can bring the particles of matter close to each other, thereby increasing the force of attraction among the particles. When we compress and decrease the temperature of the gas changes it into liquid. Dry ice. Carbon dioxide in solid form is known as dry ice. It can directly turn into gas by decreasing the pressure to 1 atmosphere. Then what exactly happens during the process of evaporation? We already know that the particles of matter are never at rest. Particles of matter possess different amounts of kinetic energy. The particles of liquid have more kinetic energy. Therefore, they are able to overcome the forces of attraction and convert into vapor without any external forces. Evaporation, the phenomenon of change of liquid into vapors at any given temperature below its boiling point, is called as evaporation. Evaporation is different from boiling. Let's learn about the factors affecting evaporation. In case of increase in surface area, the rate of evaporation increases. The best reason is the particles have more space and thus can evaporate easily. What happens if there is increase in temperature? Definitely the rate of evaporation increases because the kinetic energy among the particles increases. What happens in case of increase in humidity? The rate of evaporation decreases because the water content in the air increases and so the evaporation decreases. What happens in case of increase in wind speed? Definitely the rate of evaporation increases because the water vapors are blown away by winds, allowing more evaporation. Now, have you ever wondered how evaporation causes cooling? The process of evaporation uses the energy of a liquid particles. Therefore, the particles absorb energy from their surroundings in order to compensate the energy that is being lost in the process of evaporation. This results in cooling of a surrounding area. For example, our palms feel cool when we put some acetone or the nail paint remover on it. People sprinkle water on their roofs or ground on sunny days to cool the area. We are able to sip hot tea faster in a saucer than in a cup. Why do people wear cotton clothes in summer? We perspire more in summer. As the sweat evaporates, it takes energy from our body surface and keeps our body cool. Cotton can absorb the sweat easily and exposes it to the atmosphere, causing evaporation to take place easily. This in turn keeps us cool in summer days. Why water droplets appear on the surroundings of a glass with ice cold water? There are water vapors present in the air. When they come in contact with the walls of the gas that has ice cold water in it, they condense. As a result, their state changes from gaseous state to liquid state, thus forming tiny water droplets on the walls of the gas. Now children, I'm going to explain you the 5 states of matter. By far, we have discussed the 3 states of matter, which is solid, liquid and gas. But scientists have discovered that there are 2 more states of matter. The 4th state of matter is plasma and the 5th one is Bose-Einstein condensate. What is plasma? It is a state of matter in which the particles are super excited and super energetic. They are in form of ionized gases. For example, fluorescent tubes and neon light bulbs consist of plasma. The neon bulbs contain neon gas, and there is another gas such as helium in the fluorescent tubes. As electricity is passed to the tubes or the bulb, these gases gets ionized and this creates the plasma inside them glow. In fact, the sun and the stars glow because plasma is present in them. What is Bose-Einstein condensate, which is commonly called as BEC? It is the 5th state of matter discovered by Albert Einstein on the basis of the studies conducted by an Indian scientist Satyendranath Bose. BEC is formed by condensing gases of extremely low densities to much lower temperatures. Thank you.